Hey there, so I'm going to do a video on multiplying and dividing over an inequality sign with negatives. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you real quick. If we had something like 2x is less than 6, we would divide by 2 and we'd get x is less than 3. And that's fine. Now something weird happens when I do this. Negative 2x is less than 6. When I divide by a negative 2, because I'm dividing by a negative 2, I get a positive x, 1x, and 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. But here's the deal. Here, my inequality sign has to change directions. And that might seem kind of weird at first. And I'm going to show you two ways that you can figure that out. But for the long and short of this entire video, if you divide by a positive, like we did in the first example, we divide by a positive 2, the inequality sign does not change. And if you divide by a negative, like we did in the second example, the inequality sign will change direction. So that's it. That's the long and short. So I'm going to show you, if I had something like this, 3 is less than 5. You can see right here is 3, and right here is 5. And you can see that 3 is in fact less than 5. If I were to divide this by a negative 1 now, and if I divide one side by a negative 1, I have to divide the other side by a negative 1. So 3 divided by a negative 1 gives me a negative 3. 5 divided by a negative 1 gives me a negative 5. Now you'll see, here I have negative 3, and here I have negative 5. Well, negative 5 is not less, I'm sorry, negative 3 is not less than negative 5. Negative 3 is in fact greater than negative 5. And that kind of makes sense because as we're going in the positives, the size of the number is getting larger. Here, the size of the number, the absolute value of the number is getting larger, but the actual value itself is getting smaller. So, and one last way to show this is this. If I had a negative x is less than, let's just pick 4. If I added x to both sides, I would get 0 is less than x plus 4. Subtract negative 4, and I would get negative 4 is less than x. Well, if negative 4 is less than x, that means that x has to be greater than negative 4. So, like I said, the long and short is this. If you are going to multiply or divide over an inequality sign by a negative value, the direction of the inequality sign has to switch. I'm going to give you one last one. If I had negative 2/3 a plus 3 is greater than or equal to, boy, I'm making a mess of this, negative 9. The first thing I would do is I would subtract 3 from both sides. And I'd bring down my negative 2/3 a. And I still get greater than or equal to negative 12. And now, you can divide by negative 2/3, but I like to multiply by the reciprocal, which would be negative 3/2. And the reason why I do that is because this is going to become a positive 6 over 6. So the whole thing will become 1a. 2 goes into 12 6 times, but it's going to be negative 6. And then negative 6 times negative 3 will be 18. But because I'm multiplying by a negative now, my inequality sign has to swap. So that is it. That's the whole video. If you're multiplying or dividing over the inequality sign, then you by a negative, you have to change the direction of your inequality sign. That's it.